Understanding what a woman really feels when you're not around is one of the most powerful insights a man can have in dating and relationships. Many men assume that absence leads to loss of interest, insecurity, or indifference, but female psychology reveals a more nuanced picture. A woman's thoughts, emotions, and reactions when you're not present are shaped by attraction, curiosity, emotional connection, and the value she places on you. How she experiences your absence can determine her level of desire, attachment, and the long-term potential of the relationship. Many men overlook these dynamics, focusing only on the moments they are together or the surface-level messages they receive. But true insight comes from observing patterns in her behavior, communication, and subtle emotional cues when you are not there. In this video, we will explore 7 key ways a woman responds internally and externally when you're not around, explaining what she really feels, the psychology behind it, and how you can interpret it to maintain attraction and leverage the dynamics strategically. By understanding these responses, you gain clarity on her level of emotional investment, desire, and genuine interest, while also learning how to enhance your value in her eyes without chasing, overexplaining, or compromising your independence. These insights are not about manipulation. They are about awareness, emotional intelligence, and creating a magnetic presence that draws her towards you naturally. Men who master this knowledge can use absence as a tool to deepen attraction, maintain high status, and ensure that the relationship or dating dynamic remains exciting, balanced, and aligned with mutual desire. Let's begin by examining the first way a woman responds when you're not around. 1. She notices your absence immediately when you're not around. One of the first things a woman experiences is heightened awareness of your absence. And female psychology shows that this is often the initial stage of processing her attraction and emotional connection. A woman who is interested will notice your absence quickly, even in subtle ways. She may find herself thinking about recent conversations, recalling shared moments, or observing patterns in her daily life where your presence is missing. This is not about dependence or neediness. It is about emotional and psychological investment. Men often underestimate this stage because they assume a lack of contact equals disinterest, but noticing your absence is actually a positive indicator of attention and subconscious attachment. The brain naturally tracks relationships, and when someone is significant, even small gaps in interaction are registered and reflected in thought patterns, mood, and curiosity. Women may not always verbalize this immediately, but internally they are evaluating the dynamic, measuring your value, and reflecting on the connection you share. This is also when curiosity begins to form. She starts to consider what you are doing, how you are spending your time, and whether your absence changes her perception of you. Many men make the mistake of thinking that she is indifferent if she does not immediately reach out, but in reality, this internal processing often precedes any external communication. A woman's mind will replay interactions, analyze your words, and even imagine future scenarios where you are involved, which can increase emotional attachment and desire over time. The key for men is to recognize that absence does not weaken attraction. It can strengthen it if your presence is missed for the right reasons. Men who are high value and confident use this natural psychological response strategically, maintaining independence while allowing her to process her feelings without pressure or over-communication. By giving her space, you allow her to experience the dynamic of wanting, curiosity, and reflection, which increases intrigue and emotional engagement. Women may also subconsciously test how you handle your own absence, gauging whether you are self-sufficient, confident, and socially active, which are qualities that amplify attraction. Recognizing that noticing your absence is part of her natural evaluation process allows men to maintain composure, reinforce value, and understand that even silence or distance can create psychological tension and desire. This stage is critical because it lays the foundation for the next behaviors she exhibits: reflection, emotional evaluation, and subtle engagement. By understanding the way her mind works during your absence, you can use presence and absence strategically to deepen attraction, maintain high status, and enhance her perception of your value while protecting your independence and emotional energy. 2. She reflects on your conversations when you're not around. A woman often spends time reflecting on your conversations, and female psychology shows that this process is a key indicator of her level of interest and emotional engagement. Women are naturally analytical when it comes to relationships and interactions that involve attraction or emotional investment, and your words, tone, and behavior are replayed in her mind repeatedly. She may think about what you said, how you made her feel, and the nuances of your personality that she found intriguing or challenging. This reflection is not random. It is a subconscious evaluation of your value, compatibility, and the potential of the connection. Many men fail to realize how much impact their words have, assuming that absence means disinterest. But in reality, reflection demonstrates that your presence left an impression significant enough to occupy her thoughts. The way she processes these interactions can determine her feelings of desire, respect, and curiosity toward you. For example, if you made her laugh, displayed confidence, or subtly challenged her in conversation, these memories often resurface when you're not around, reinforcing her attraction. Conversely, if interactions were weak, unengaging, or lacked confidence, her reflection may create ambivalence or diminishing interest. Men often try to fill gaps in interaction with constant messages or explanations, but this undermines the natural process of reflection that can heighten attraction. Allowing her the space to think about you without interference is critical because it gives her brain time to process emotional signals, evaluate your status, and imagine scenarios involving you, which can increase intrigue and desire. Women also subconsciously assess your consistency, emotional intelligence, and social value during this reflection. She compares your interactions with past experiences, weighing whether your behavior stands out, inspires curiosity, or creates a sense of scarcity that drives emotional investment. Men who understand this principle leverage absence strategically, knowing that giving her time to reflect amplifies attraction while maintaining independence and composure. This reflection process can also influence future interactions. She may initiate contact, mirror behaviors you displayed, or subtly test your boundaries to evaluate consistency and high-value traits. Recognizing that a woman reflects on conversations when you are not around allows men to understand the power of words, tone, and behavior, and the importance of creating memorable, high-value interactions. By leaving a positive impression, demonstrating confidence, and avoiding neediness, you ensure that her reflection reinforces attraction, curiosity, and emotional engagement. This stage is a psychological tool that can work in your favor if handled intelligently. The more she thinks about you in a positive, intrigued way during your absence, the stronger the connection becomes. Understanding this allows men to create dynamics where absence increases desire, reinforces high-value perception, and ensures that interactions remain meaningful, memorable, and strategically impactful in building attraction. 3. She feels a sense of curiosity when you're not around. A woman often experiences a sense of curiosity about your life, and female psychology shows that this is a natural response to attraction and emotional engagement. Curiosity arises when she begins to wonder what you are doing, who you are spending time with, and how your absence affects the dynamic between you two. This feeling is not about insecurity or desperation. It is about her subconscious evaluating your value, availability, and presence in her world. Many men misinterpret silence or distance as disinterest, but curiosity is a subtle yet powerful signal that she is thinking about you, imagining scenarios, and assessing whether your absence changes her feelings or interest. Women may analyze your social presence, your activities, or even your conversations with others to gauge your confidence, independence, and desirability. Men often try to fill this gap with over-messaging or constant updates, but doing so removes the natural tension that fuels curiosity and diminishes attraction. The best approach is to maintain independence, continue living a high-value life, and allow her mind to process your absence on its own terms. Curiosity can manifest in small ways. She may check your social updates, wonder about your plans, or subtly initiate contact to test your availability or emotional response. Female psychology explains that this curiosity is also connected to the desire to understand your priorities, how much of a role she plays in your life, and whether your absence creates space for reflection and evaluation. Men who understand this principle recognize that curiosity strengthens attraction when absence is handled strategically. By being consistent, confident, and high value during interactions, you create a dynamic where her mind naturally dwells on you when you are not present. This period allows her to reassess emotional and romantic interest, which can increase longing, desire, and respect if your presence left a positive, memorable impression. Women may also use this time to determine how emotionally available, independent, or intriguing you are, which directly impacts the level of attraction she feels. Recognizing curiosity as a signal of engagement enables men to avoid reactive behaviors and focus on creating moments that are memorable, meaningful, and high value. When handled correctly, absence coupled with her curiosity strengthens the connection, makes her more attentive, and ensures that her desire is actively influenced by the tension of not knowing your immediate actions. Understanding this stage allows men to strategically use time apart to amplify attraction, preserve independence, and maintain high-value status, while allowing her natural curiosity and emotional processing to increase engagement, respect, and desire over time, creating a dynamic where absence enhances connection rather than diminishes it. 4. She experiences subtle emotional awareness. When you're not around, a woman often experiences subtle emotional awareness of your presence, and female psychology shows that this is a key indicator of her attachment, interest, and attraction. Even in your absence, she may feel a range of emotions, curiosity, longing, intrigue, or mild anticipation, triggered by memories of interactions, your unique personality traits, or the dynamics you created together. This is not about dependence, but about recognition of value and emotional impact. Men often underestimate the power of this subconscious emotional processing, assuming that if she doesn't reach out immediately, she is indifferent. But these quiet, internal feelings indicate that your presence made a significant impression. Women may notice gaps in their routine, moments when they expected your engagement, or reflections on the conversations and experiences shared, all of which generate subtle emotional signals that influence her perception of you. These feelings often operate below the level of conscious thought, but play a critical role in attraction, shaping her curiosity, desire, and evaluation of the connection. Many men make the mistake of filling absence with overcommunication or attempts to elicit emotional responses, but doing so interrupts this natural psychological processing and reduces perceived value. By allowing space, you give her mind room to process interactions, recall your positive traits, and internalize the impact you have made. Emotional awareness can manifest in small behaviors, like thinking of you during her day, noticing reminders of you in her environment, or experiencing mild emotional shifts when reflecting on shared experiences. Men who recognize this principle understand that attraction is reinforced not only through direct interaction, but through the emotional residue left behind in absence. Women use this internal evaluation to measure compatibility, emotional resonance, and desirability, often without realizing it consciously, and this is why presence in her mind can be more powerful than constant physical presence. Handling absence strategically, living your life, maintaining confidence, and avoiding over-pursuit amplifies these subtle emotional signals, making your value more prominent and your presence more memorable. Men who master this principle understand that emotional awareness in her absence strengthens the connection, increases intrigue, and enhances perceived value. By giving her the opportunity to feel these subtle emotions independently, you allow attraction, longing, and desire to grow naturally without pressure or manipulation. Recognizing this stage helps men act intelligently. Absence becomes a tool to reinforce value, deepen attraction, and maintain high-status presence while empowering her subconscious emotional engagement. This principle ensures that her mind and emotions remain active in your favor, creating tension, curiosity, and desire that sustain connection, making your return more impactful and reinforcing her respect, interest, and attention. Understanding the emotional awareness that develops in absence allows men to navigate attraction strategically, preserving independence while enhancing influence, intrigue, and long-term desirability. 5. She evaluates her feelings about you. When you're not around, a woman often takes time to evaluate her feelings about you, and female psychology shows that this internal assessment is crucial in determining her level of attraction, attachment, and desire. In your absence, she may reflect on how your presence makes her feel, whether she misses your energy, appreciates your personality, or enjoys the dynamic you have together. This evaluation is rarely conscious at first. It happens subtly as she processes memories, emotions, and interactions, weighing the value you bring to her life. Many men overlook this because they assume absence means disinterest, but a woman who genuinely considers your qualities, behavior, and the emotional impact you have had is actively engaged on a psychological level. During this reflection, she may ask herself questions like whether she looks forward to seeing you, whether your conversations were stimulating, or whether she feels excitement or comfort in your company. Men often misinterpret silence or a lack of immediate contact as indifference, but the truth is that this evaluation is part of her internal decision-making process about the relationship, her emotional investment, and her desire to continue engagement. The intensity and positivity of this evaluation are directly influenced by the value, confidence, and high-status traits you have displayed in interactions prior to your absence. Men who try to force communication or seek constant reassurance disrupt this natural reflection, diminishing its impact and reducing perceived attraction. By allowing space, you give her the opportunity to assess her feelings independently, which strengthens curiosity, longing, and emotional connection. Women often use this period of evaluation to determine whether their interest is genuine, how your absence affects their thoughts, and whether your presence brings excitement, stability, or intrigue into their life. Men who understand this dynamic recognize that absence is not a threat, but a tool for amplifying attraction and deepening emotional engagement. Her evaluation during this time often determines future behavior, including whether she initiates contact, demonstrates interest, or invests more effort into the connection. Recognizing that a woman is actively processing her feelings allows men to act strategically, maintain independence, avoid overpursuit, and continue living a high-value life, which reinforces desirability and perceived worth. This stage of evaluation ensures that when you reappear, she has had the opportunity to recognize your value, consider the emotional impact of your presence, and internalize positive perceptions of you. Understanding this process allows men to leverage absence intelligently, creating anticipation, desire, and respect, while preserving emotional energy and reinforcing high-value behavior. By respecting her internal evaluation, men cultivate a dynamic where attraction grows naturally, curiosity is heightened, and the connection becomes more meaningful, sustainable, and emotionally compelling, ensuring that absence works to deepen engagement rather than weaken it. 6. She notices your absence through her social environment when you're not around. A woman often becomes aware of your absence through her social environment, and female psychology shows that this external observation reinforces her internal evaluation and emotional processing. She may notice reminders of you in conversations with friends, in social settings, or even in comparisons to other men, which trigger thoughts about your presence and your value in her life. For example, your name might come up in discussion. She may recall shared experiences when interacting with mutual friends, or she might notice how your absence changes the dynamic of her social routine. This awareness is a reflection of attachment and attraction, as she subconsciously tracks your significance in her environment and measures how it aligns with her feelings, priorities, and desire. Many men overlook this because they assume that social silence or lack of direct contact indicates indifference, but women are highly attuned to the social and emotional implications of absence. Observing your absence through her environment allows her to evaluate how she feels, how much she misses your energy, and whether she values your presence enough to seek engagement or initiate contact. Men often disrupt this process by being overly present, over-communicating, or attempting to dominate her attention, which can reduce curiosity, diminish emotional reflection, and lower perceived value. By maintaining independence, living a high-value life, and giving her space, you allow her social environment to naturally reinforce the significance of your absence, which enhances attraction, intrigue, and desire. This external awareness also interacts with her internal evaluation, strengthening emotional engagement as she notices how her thoughts, behaviors, and moods are influenced by your presence even when you are not physically there. Women may unconsciously compare interactions, consider your qualities relative to others, and reflect on the uniqueness of the connection, all of which increases psychological investment and desire. Men who understand this stage recognize that absence is not a liability, but a tool for amplifying curiosity, interest, and emotional processing. By giving her the opportunity to experience your absence through her social lens, you create a dynamic where she actively thinks about you, misses your presence, and begins to evaluate the emotional impact you have, which deepens attraction and strengthens her investment. Recognizing the role of the social environment in shaping her feelings allows men to act strategically, maintaining confidence, independence, and high-value behavior while letting natural psychological processes work in their favor. When handled correctly, this stage ensures that absence magnifies significance, encourages reflection, and reinforces desire, making your eventual presence more impactful, memorable, and attractive. By leveraging the natural cues provided through her social context, men enhance engagement, curiosity, and respect, creating a dynamic where attraction is reinforced even when physical interaction is limited. Ensuring that absence becomes a tool for increasing influence, desire, and long-term connection rather than diminishing it. 7. She anticipates your return when you're not around. A woman often begins to anticipate your return, and female psychology shows that this anticipation is a clear sign of attraction, emotional engagement, and curiosity. Even if she does not express it outwardly, she may find herself looking forward to your next interaction, wondering what you are doing, and imagining the energy, conversation, or experiences she will share with you. This anticipation is fueled by the psychological imprint you have left on her mind, including the way you made her feel, the confidence you displayed, and the high-value traits she subconsciously recognizes. Many men fail to understand that anticipation is a powerful tool in attraction because they equate absence with loss of influence. But in reality, when managed correctly, absence enhances desirability by creating tension, curiosity, and longing. Women may subtly test your availability or reflect on your absence to gauge the impact you have on their emotions, which in turn strengthens attachment and the emotional significance of your presence. Men often undermine this process by being overly available, constantly messaging, or over-explaining interactions, which removes the natural buildup of anticipation and diminishes perceived value. By maintaining independence, focusing on your own life, and demonstrating high-value behavior consistently, you allow anticipation to grow naturally, increasing emotional investment, curiosity, and desire. This anticipation also interacts with reflection, emotional awareness, and social observation, combining internal and external factors to reinforce the psychological significance of your presence. Women may imagine future interactions, recall positive memories, or even plan to share experiences with you in ways that subconsciously highlight your value, increasing both longing and respect. Recognizing anticipation as a natural response to absence allows men to use time apart strategically, reinforcing attraction while avoiding neediness or over-pursuit. Anticipation is closely linked to emotional and cognitive engagement. The more positively she associates your presence with excitement, comfort, or intrigue, the stronger the desire and attachment she develops during your absence. Men who understand this principle maintain composure, project high status, and create experiences that leave a lasting impression, ensuring that your return is met with increased attention, curiosity, and emotional investment. By leveraging the psychology of anticipation, you create a dynamic where absence becomes a tool for enhancing attraction, reinforcing respect, and deepening connection without forcing interaction or compromising independence. Women's anticipation signals genuine interest, highlights the impact of your value, and provides men with clarity about the effectiveness of their presence, behavior, and emotional influence. Understanding this stage ensures that your absence amplifies desire, curiosity, and engagement, making your eventual interactions more meaningful, memorable, and psychologically compelling. When handled strategically, anticipation strengthens attraction, deepens emotional connection, and preserves high-value status, creating a dynamic where absence works to your advantage, increasing influence, respect, and desire in her mind and heart. Understanding what a woman really feels when you're not around is a game-changing insight for any man navigating modern dating and relationships because it reveals the psychological dynamics that drive attraction, emotional engagement, and desire. The 7 key responses: notice of your absence, reflection on conversations, curiosity about your life, subtle emotional awareness, evaluation of her feelings, recognition of your significance through her social environment, and anticipation of your return, together paint a clear picture of how absence impacts her thoughts and emotions. Men often misinterpret silence, distance, or lack of immediate contact as disinterest, but female psychology demonstrates that these moments are critical for her internal processing, emotional evaluation, and subconscious measurement of your value. By understanding these responses, men gain the ability to act strategically, maintaining independence, projecting high-value behavior, and allowing absence to amplify attraction rather than diminish it. These insights empower men to avoid neediness, overpursuit, or emotional overextension while simultaneously strengthening curiosity, desire, and emotional connection in her mind. Recognizing her internal reflection and emotional processing also helps men understand the importance of leaving a positive, memorable impression during interactions, as these experiences become the foundation for anticipation, longing, and increased attraction when you are not physically present. Handling absence intelligently ensures that a woman's mind remains engaged, her emotions active, and her desire reinforced, creating a dynamic where your value is magnified and your presence becomes more influential. Men who master this knowledge leverage absence as a tool to deepen connection, preserve self-respect, and maintain high-value status, while also allowing her natural psychological responses to build intrigue, attachment, and emotional investment. By observing these patterns and responding strategically, you can focus on interactions that are meaningful, reciprocal, and emotionally compelling, creating a dating dynamic that is both effective and sustainable. Understanding what a woman feels when you're not around ensures that your presence is impactful, your absence is purposeful, and your relationships are aligned with mutual attraction, engagement, and respect, giving you clarity, confidence, and influence in every interaction.